Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IAS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar. Today we have to talk about Governor, Governor General and Viceroys. See, understand one thing. And we'll, like, when we are talking about these guys, Governor of Bengal, Governor General of Bengal, when they became Viceroy, and then first Governor of Bengal, first Governor General of Bengal, first Governor General of India, first Viceroy of India. So there are so many things which are important from their perspective. The nomenclature is also very important. Apart from the nomenclature thing, what else is important? We have to have a look at certain important Governor General or Viceroys, Lord Lytton, Ripon, William Bentinck, why they are important, Dalhousie, their good points, their bad points, Curzon, their good points and bad points rather. And we will talk about all these things. We'll have a discussion related to all these things. But before we do that, let's move forward to this post 1857 scenario. What do I mean by that is, in the previous lecture, yesterday's lecture, we have talked about 1857 revolt. So first of all, let's talk about what happened after 1857 revolt, and we'll have a brief discussion related to what happened after 1857 revolt. We already have an idea. Good evening, Vastarams. Good evening, Kritika. We already have an idea related to what happened after 1857. How? Because we have talked about acts. When we have talked about acts, good evening, Charita. So there we have seen acts related from 1773 to 1853. That was one part. The second part was acts from 1858 to 1935. So that had given us an idea related to what happened after post 1857. But still we have to have a look at it based on, certain terms. What are martial races? What are non-martial races? So these terms are very important from exam perspective. Okay, so again, the bol bachchan stuff or the jibber jabber stuff in simple English is going on here after 1857 revolt. In fact, 1857 revolt, if you go by class 12 chapter 10, which we have discussed yesterday, it ended by, or Britishers gained the control of lost territories by around end of 1859. Even before that revolt has ended, they have passed this particular act. Act for Good Government in India, Queen's Proclamation. We don't want to annex any more territories. We don't want to interfere in your religious affairs and other stuff. And that is what we have already discussed. So that is what is written here. Secretary of State will be there. Dual government, which was introduced by Pitt's India Act, where you have Board of Control, Court of Directors, all these things we have discussed earlier. And do revise. Good evening, Srikant. Do revise those lectures related to acts. They are very important. So again, a revision is going on. All these things are written. Secretary of State post was created, and they had given a council of 15 members who will assist this Secretary of State. Board of Control, Court of Directors, they have been abolished. Very good. So once you read these things, you will realize that, okay, this revision is important. And again, when we have talked about acts, when we have talked about 1858 Act, Government of India Act, we have seen that they just want to remove this British East India Company, but the control process has started from 1773 only, and that's why this particular statement is written. It gave a decent burial to an already dead horse, the company's administration. Because again, if you rewind and if you have a revision of those lectures, you will realize that slowly and gradually powers were taken away from EIC, English East India Company, and that is what is written here. So you can have a look at all these things. We have already done it, so I'm not reading it. Governor General of India became Viceroy, and the first Viceroy of India was, who was the first Viceroy, sir and ma'am? Chepandis. First Viceroy of India. Whom do you call the first Viceroy of India? The first Viceroy of India was, as Samrat, Charita and everyone are saying, Lord Canning. Okay, so these are some facts. Indian states were henceforth to be recognized the paramountcy of British Crown. So what is the message given to Indian state? That we won't subjugate you, we won't conquer you, but you have to accept our subordination. British Crown is saying that. We have discussed all these things. People of India were promised freedom of religion. You won't interfere in your religious affairs. 1829 Sati abolition, 1856 widow remarriage, 1843 abolition of slavery, Lord Ellenborough. All these things have been done, but we feel like all these matters offended you, so we won't interfere in your affairs or religious affairs. Again, now this point is important. We have seen this, again, 1857 revolt happened because of the unity of Hindu and Muslim people, and I will keep on reiterating it. And Britishers felt like, okay, we cannot depend on these Indian soldiers, so we have to increase the number of European soldiers, plus people who participated a lot in 1857 revolt. They were given the category of non-martial races. Basically, what they wanted to say was, you may have heard this term. This term is in use in some way or the other today also. Oh my God, you people are talking among yourself. Charita, hi Kriti. Kritika, hi Charita. Oh my God. So let's focus here. So non-martial and martial races. This was a categorization introduced by Britishers after 1857 revolt, and their basic meaning was martial races people are very brave. Okay, they may or may not be brave, and non-martial people are not that brave. So we want to recruit people from martial races, so-called martial races. And again, it may be true that, okay, martial people, martial races, Gorkha and other guys, Sikh people, Marathas, so they are martial races. Non-martial races, many scholars, many historians believe it, because I don't want to go into dangerous territories. So they say that in non-martial races, they kept those people who played a crucial role in 1857 revolt. So tell me, which particular region people would be kept in the non-martial races, the people of Awadh, where they would be kept in the category of martial races or non-martial races. These terms are actually important from exam perspective. You have to understand what are martial races, what are non-martial races. Most of the people will be knowing about all these things, that okay, number of Indian soldiers will be reduced, European soldiers will be increased, they will try to do divide and rule policy, and all these stuff is fine. But martial and non-martial races, they say it was based on bravery, but it was based on like something more than that. Awadh and their soldiers, they were kept in the non-martial races. Sir, Tatya Tope friend who betrayed him was Man Singh. Very good, Charita. So again, aftermath of, this is what is written here, recruits were to be drawn from the martial races of Punjab, Nepal, Gorkha people. And also, I agree, or we agree, that these are brave people. Also, these are those people who did not participate much in 1857 revolt and who were loyal. Fine. Higher posts in the army, and again you can understand all these things which were happening. Why higher posts were kept for Europeans? Because Britishers, Crown, they have lost certain amount of faith in Indian soldiers because of 1857 revolt, but obvious again. So all these things are written here. Again, you can have a look at it. Policy of divide and rule will start now, and this thing will go on and on and on. Muslim League, separate electorates will happen, and then separate electorates will be introduced for different communities. All these things, division of like India, and we'll talk about it. You know about it. We have discussed it when we have talked about Act. So again, this is just a summary. White man's burden theory, they will try to prove that, okay, you people, we will not interfere in your religious affairs, but please understand, Indians, you people are not fit to rule yourself, and because you people are inferior to us. White man's burden, Rudyard Kipling's theory. And time and again, Indian people will keep on reinforcing this thing that no sir, we are like, and that will happen more and more from 1910 onwards, that we are fit to rule ourselves, Home Rule League, etc. will start, and then Indians' representation will increase again. Fine. Aftermath, change in military policy, and that is what is written here. Big positions were reserved for Europeans. Number of Europeans will be increased. Number of Indian soldiers will be decreased. Soldiers from Awadh, Bihar and Central India were declared as non-martial. Please, people who are from Awadh, Bihar and Central India, don't think you are not brave. This is just one way to ensure people who were like who participated a lot in 1857 revolt, they don't become a big chunk of, you know, the current European army after, or the British army after 1857 revolt. Punjabis and Gorkhas, agreed they are brave, but also they did not take part much in 1857 revolt, and that is also one of the reasons why historians or scholars says that they are kept in this martial races. These two terms are important, martial and non-martial races. Okay, sir. Our people are easily manipulated by British people, not only British people. Our people are easily manipulated by a lot of people, Charita. Okay, so aftermath of 1857 revolt, change in policy, policy of annexation abandoned, and Queen Victoria became the Empress of India in 1876 during the tenure of a Viceroy. His name will be Lord Lytton. Lord Lytton, Lord Ripon, there will be certain lords, we'll talk about them. And how will you understand? Like today, this is a peripheral discussion which we are having right now. This is not the core agenda for today. The core agenda is Governor, Governor General and Viceroys. And we'll see, we'll have a look at them. We'll have a look at most of them, the important ones. We'll try to solve some PYQs on them. And then you will realize which Viceroys are very important, about whom you cannot forget. Okay, sir. So again, change in attitude, Indian Council Act of 1861 happened, representation of Indians are increasing slowly and gradually, that too in the Legislative Council, not in Executive Council. When will first Indian be introduced into Viceroy's Executive Council? What is that year? What we have discussed earlier. First time representation of Indians in Viceroy's Executive Council via which particular act? As Dark said, 1909 Act. Okay, awesome. Changing the policy towards the common masses again, all these things. Indians unfit to rule themselves. We will not interfere in your social religious affairs, racial discrimination, white man's burden. Oh my God. Are we? Okay. So we are done with the basic chit chat. Let's come to the point now. Let's do some revision and then we'll go to Governor, Governor General and Viceroys. So first question in front of you. Consider the following statement. This is the revision thing we have talked about. These acts are important. 1909, 1990, 1935 and more PYQs you solve in them or solve on these topics, the more or the better you will become when it comes to retaining the basic key tenets associated with these acts. So what is the answer? Lawyer Sachidanand Sinha, as Vastrams is saying. Okay, cool, nice, correct. And he is also known as Satyendra Prasanna Sinha, SP Sinha. What is the answer of this question? Some of the main features of Government of India Act 1935 were the first, abolition of diarchy in the governor's provinces. Second, power of governors to veto legislative action and to legislate on their own. Third, abolition of principle of communal representation. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? A, 1 only, B, 1 and 2 only, C, 2 and 3 only, D, 1, 2 and 3. Che Pandis. Okay. So let's try to eliminate some options. And let's try to solve this particular question. Up until now, I have not got any answer. So we know this communal representation, and do revise the act lecture, that is very important. Both the parts of acts which we have done. Sir, please loudly, more loudly. Am I audible? Not audible? Can you hear me? People, do confirm it in the chat section whether you people can hear me properly or not, because anyway I speak loudly. So Vastaram, Samrat, Charita, Kritika, they have given the answer. So we know if you revise 1935 Act, you will realize 1909 Act, your separate electorate was introduced for Muslims. 1919, it was extended for Anglo-Indians Christians. 1935, extended for women and depressed classes. So no, it was not abolished. Communal representation is separate electorates. So third is wrong. If third is wrong, eliminate C and D. You are left with A and B. So some of the main features, oh my God. Hello, hello. You're audible, perfectly audible. Awesome. So again, first and second, abolition of diarchy in governors' provinces, that is correct. And again, you don't even need to check for one, it is there in both. Use, that is smart study, smart elimination. So second, we have to just check. Power of governors to veto legislative action and to legislate on their own. Again, if you go back, you will realize this is correct. Governors had a lot of power and second statement is correct. The answer is B, 1 and 2 only, as stated by nobody. So that means you have to revise. Do revise these stuff. This is important. This is tricky. And that's why the more questions you solve on these acts, the better you will become in remembering the provisions of these acts. Okay, sir. Let's solve another question. And some of these things you may encounter it for the first time. That's fine. So solve all these questions. You will thank me later. The instrument of instructions contained in Government of India Act 1935 have been incorporated in the Constitution of India in the year 1950 as A, fundamental rights, B, directive principles of state policy, C, extent of executive power of state, or D, conduct of business of the Government of India. Yeah, I can understand, Charita. That confusion is totally understood because that provision is not read a lot, but do keep it in mind that yes, governor had veto provision. Fine. So yes, sir, instrument of instructions. This instrument of instruction, again, this is a new part. So what is happening when you're solving these questions? You are knowing something new. And as we have discussed earlier, our current Indian constitution, almost 50% of the provision has been taken from Government of India Act 1935 as Samrat and Anju. Oh my God, I'm saying Anju after such a long time. They are saying B. So answer is B, because these people are never wrong. Samrat, Anju and Charita. Instrument of instruction, DPSP, which is there in our article 36 to 51, if I'm not wrong. And this is part 4. So here history and polity are merging. Instrument of instruction means we are telling, or constitution is telling to the government what things you should be doing, because that's what a good guy does. And if you're a good state and if you're a good government, you should implement these policies. So they are directions for the states. And instrument of instruction, DPSPs. So now do tell me whether DPSPs, Kritika has also given the answer. So DPSPs, whether they are justiciable or non-justiciable. As you can understand here what is happening, we like again history and polity are merging here. So DPSPs, are they justiciable or non-justiciable? If let's say there is a DPSP, any particular DPSP, equal pay for equal work, and if that DPSP is not implemented, can you go to court and say to court that, sir, this is so wrong, I don't like it? DPSP is justiciable or non-justiciable, sir and ma'am? As Samrat said, non-justiciable, fundamental rights are justiciable. So again, keep these points in mind. I think you will read it in polity as well. So instrument of instructions under GOI Act, and that will later on become DPSPs, guidelines, social and economic development they will promote, articles 36 to 51. This is a homework for you people. This is part 4 of the constitution. They can ask you in so many ways, like fundamental rights form, part 4, part 3, part 2, part 1. So remember the parts also, and one homework, do remember or paste like all these DPSPs on your wall. Like what DPSP, like if there is one particular DPSP which is in news a lot these days, only the guiding principle for the government, as Vasram is saying. We took it from Irish constitution. Very good. So one particular DPSP which is in news a lot, that is Uniform Civil Code. So Uniform Civil Code is a part of which particular DPSP? Chepandis, Chepu Telsu Ledu Kadu. That means do tell me. Uniform Civil Code, it is in news, and that's how. Sometimes people feel like, sir, oh my God, sir, we have fundamental rights from 12 to 35, DPSP from 36 to 51. How will we remember all? I don't like this word, sir. It's not about that. You have to like this word. And you don't have to like mug up all these things. Just keep in mind which DPSPs or fundamental rights are in news a lot. Let's say you have Press Freedom Index or something, freedom of speech and expression. Keep it in mind what Article 19 is, what Article 19 different clauses are. Article 19 clause 1 and then subclause A, B. So you have to remember if it is in news. Similarly, Uniform Civil Code is in news, as Charita and Vasram is saying. Article 44. Very good. Okay, sir. Now let's come back to Governor, the core topic for today. Governor, Governor Generals and Viceroys. So we know, and again, don't go and look at or have a, I don't know how much you can see here. The dates, we are not interested so much in the dates. We are interested in the chronology, and also not that much in the chronology part. We are interested in knowing which are the most important governor, governor general and viceroy from UPSC perspective. What can give us a better idea? The PYQs, which UPSC has already asked on these guys. So we'll have a look at those PYQs. We have a basic idea about these guys, the nomenclature, that before Regulating Act of 1773, there was a nomenclature known as Governor of Bengal. And Robert Clive, Lord Clive, he was the first Governor of Bengal. And then Governor General of Bengal, this system started from Regulating Act of 1773. Governor of Bengal became Governor General of Bengal, and they were given superior powers over Bombay and Madras Presidency. Warren Hastings, first Governor General of Bengal. And then first Governor General of India, that happened via Charter Act of 1833. More centralization is happening. William Bentinck will become first Governor General of India. And then 1858 Queen's Proclamation, Act of Good Government, Lord Canning, first Viceroy of India. All these things are fine. These are basic things. Again, here you are seeing some, Governor General, Viceroy / you can change the nomenclature accordingly. Don't focus much on the dates. There will be some dates which will be wrong. Like here, Lord Wellesley, it is not 1825, it is 1805. So you have to correct those dates. But what is actually important is the name which you will be seeing, Warren Hastings, he is important because everything first is important. Your first love, your first crush, your first movie, anything. So first Governor General of Bengal, Warren Hastings, and we have talked about him, how frustrated, depressed he was. Plus UPSC has asked a lot of questions on Warren Hastings, so he is important. Lord Cornwallis, very important because he faced defeat in America. And Then he came here, introduced permanent settlement. So Cornwallis is important. Wellesley, very important, as Charita said. He introduced subsidiary alliance. Lord William Bentinck, why very important? Again, first, your Governor General of India. Centralization reached its peak and also played a crucial role in the passage of Sati abolition. So he is very important. Dalhousie, 1848 to 56. Why important? And even before Dalhousie, we have talked about one particular guy yesterday who played a crucial role in the introduction of grease cartridge. Lord Hardinge abolished Maria system. First can be depressive too, sir. Exactly. I can understand, yes. If first love does not fructify first, then it can be depressing too. But yes, you never forget your first, whether it is depressing or happy. Okay, let's focus, bros. We are deviating from the topic here. And your comment section plays a role. So please, sir and ma'am, do tell me. Class 12, chapter 10, yesterday we have seen. And we have seen that most of the people, when they talk about 1857 revolt, they talk about Lord Dalhousie and Canning. But before Lord Dalhousie, where is Dalhousie? Dalhousie is here. Before 1848, there was one guy who played a crucial role in the introduction of this grease cartridge. Yesterday we have talked about him. Who was that guy? What was his name? Chepandis. Don't forget it. The name was Lord Hardinge. 1844 to 48. Please revise, bros. And there will be another Governor General who will come with the name Lord Hardinge. So you have to keep it in mind. So many Hardings, same but different. These are generally title. Like, let's say I am Shubham Sagar, but my title is Pathak. So I'm ideally Shubham Pathak. So Pathak can be anyone. You know, my father is also Pathak. My grandfather was also Pathak. So again, similarly, Hardinge is a title. So remember these. There will be another Hardinge who will be coming. The first name nobody remembers. They are generally like Lord Dalhousie. We don't know the first name of Dalhousie. We are not going to find that. So we have to remember it like that. But fortunately, there is only one Dalhousie. But unfortunately, you will witness another Hardinge who will, I guess, will be the Viceroy from 1910 to 1916. So keep it in mind. They will not give you Lord Hardinge, two Lord Hardings in the same options. But keep it in mind. That will help you. Okay. So we'll go there. Lord Canning, 1856 to 60. No, Lord Dalhousie. And this guy is important. Why? Because NCERT class 12 chapter 10 is talking about it. And he was the one who played a crucial role in the introduction of grease cartridge. Then Dalhousie, doctrine of lapse policy, annexation, so much annexation that 1857 revolt happened. These are some bad things which you read about Dalhousie. But then there are some good things also about Dalhousie. He is also known as maker of modern India. Why he is called as maker of modern India? During his period, train was introduced, telegraph was introduced, PWD, Public Welfare Department, which you are seeing, was introduced during his tenure. So he is the maker of modern India. So there are good things also which is associated with him. That is Dalhousie. Where is Dalhousie? Yeah. And that's why he's known as maker of modern India. They can ask you, which of the following Governor General is known as maker of modern India? And you will be like, oh my God, Dalhousie, such an evil guy. But yes. Okay, so Lord Canning, he is the guy who has done or who is there and who has seen a lot in his life. Dalhousie in HP. Very good. So Lord Canning, first Viceroy of India, Governor General during the time of 1857 revolt, during the passage, during his tenure, passage of Widow Remarriage Act has happened. So many things he saw. So this guy, he's like Dhoni of all these Governor General. It's not like he's that good as Dhoni, but you can understand Dhoni has seen a lot during his captainship. So this guy also seen a lot. Lord Mayo, 1869 to 72, Viceroy of India, who was killed by a convict. So again, we'll go there. You will understand who are important. And then again, there are some more Governor General Viceroys. You can have a look at these in your free time. I don't know how much you can see right now. These dates and etc. they are not important. You can always come back and have a look at them. You will realize once we have solved some questions, who are the Governor General / Viceroys or governors whom you cannot forget. They have to appear in your dreams as well. So let's solve some questions and let's try to keep them in our mind. So this is PYQ 3. Consider the following statements. First, Robert Clive was the first Governor General of Bengal. Second, William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A, one only. 1850 Indian Post Office, railways were introduced for removing untouchability. Okay, Kritika. Very good, Charita. Nice. So, yes, sir. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1, not 2. So, as Charita, Samrat, Dark, Vastrams, Oh my God, Vastaram, your name is, okay, your name reminds me of some friend of mine. Okay, let's focus. And Kritika has said, SS Talks has said. So, Robert Clive was not the first Governor General of Bengal. The first Governor General of Bengal was, who was the first Governor General? Warren Hastings. William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. That is correct. So, the answer is B, two only, as stated by Samrat, Dark, and Vastaram, Kritika, SS Talks, and now Charita as well. So this is important. So again, these guys who have been asked in PYQs, keep a tab on like their names. And then here also Lord Curzon, 1899 to 1905. Don't worry if you're not able to see him. Lord Curzon is important. During his tenure, partition of Bengal will happen. He's the one who is responsible for PUSA, like that is a university related to agriculture. All these things he did. He did a lot of other things. Kitchener Commission, uniformity in armed forces and discipline in armed forces. All these things happened during his tenure. We'll talk about him later on also. Lord Minto. And here see another Harding. I don't know if you can see it. So Lord Minto, Morley Minto reforms, 1909 Act. After him will come Harding, 1910 to 1916. Lord Chelmsford, during his period, Montague Chelmsford, 1919 Act. Lord Lytton, again, don't focus too much on the dates. Again, forget about Lord Lytton. Just remember Lord Irwin, 1926 to 1931. Gandhi-Irwin pact will happen during his tenure. What these pacts are, you will understand it more and more because these guys will come again. This is just like a brief introduction of all these guys. We'll solve some PYQs and then these guys will appear again and again in your life. And you'll be like, oh my God, he has come again in my life. I don't like him. Some of these Governor General or Viceroys you will love. Some of them you won't like. Okay. So then Lord Linlithgow, longest serving Viceroy. So these are some features. He was there from 1936 to 43-44. Lord Wevell, Shimla Plan is associated with him. Last Viceroy, C. Rajagopalachari. We'll talk about him. Don't worry if you are not able to see or you are not able to remember these stuff. You will be able to remember most of these stuff slowly but gradually. Vastrams is actually the name of a clothing brand I started in my school a year ago. Very good. Very good, Vastram. Yes, Vast is actually cloth. So Warren Hastings, first Governor General, and again here you are seeing certain things related to him. We know most, like many of these things earlier also. We have talked about him, Regulating Act, how he was facing issues with the council because it had 4 members. One thing which you may not know is, like these guys, most of these guys, even Robert Clive, faced issues related to or faced charges related to corruption. So when he went to England, he was impeached in 1787 for corruption. Similar fate happened to Robert Clive also, and he was acquitted in 1795. Robert Clive, I don't think he was acquitted. I think he was charged for corruption. And these guys, they were used to be given a name called nabobs. And who says it? NCRT says it. We have talked about this particular term called nabobs. That is an anglicized word for nawab used in a derogatory manner in Britain. So do remember these things. Samrat in both years it has. Cool. Let's solve this particular question. I am assuming you know nothing. You may not know anything about Vernacular Press Act. Don't worry about it. Take a chance. Take some risk. And then I will tell you how you have to remember these names. And again, you will read about them later on also. I have given you these Governor, Governor General and Viceroys just that you become comfortable with these names. Later on when we have a discussion about them, you don't feel like, okay, you are hearing it for the first time. So who among the following repealed the Vernacular Press Act? As Samrat said, Charita said, Lord Ripon. And Lord Ripon's tenure was from 1880 to 1884. So when you will look at these guys, when you look at these Governor General, Vastram, Kritika Pandey, everybody is saying B. So you will realize there are certain Governor General or Viceroys who are actually very good, or they were good in that period, or they look good, or their work sounds good. Like you have William Bentinck, abolition of sati. So you may feel like he was okay guy. Lord Ripon, oh my God. When you hear about Lord Ripon, and later on also there will be some other guys who will come who you will see that they have some noble intentions. Most of these guys are evil. They have their own British aspirations in mind. But Lord Ripon, William Bentinck, to a certain extent Sir Stafford Cripps, you will realize that these guys are good. Sir Stafford Cripps is not the Viceroy, but you will see him during Cripps mission. You will see him during cabinet mission. So these guys, you will realize that, okay, these guys are good. Maybe they are not being supported that much by the British government or British crown, but their intentions are noble. Lord Ripon, nobody can doubt his intentions. He was the guy who repealed this Vernacular Press Act, which was passed during the period of Lord Lytton, who was one of the most evil viceroys you can ever witness. His period was from 1876 to 1880. And very evil guy. During his period, Lord Lytton's period, Second Anglo-Afghan War happened, 1878 to 1880, in which they faced reverses. And Indians were happy. Obviously, we'll be happy if Britishers are facing issues. So vernacular press, vernacular newspapers in like local language newspapers of ours, they were criticizing Lord Lytton and his policies, which were hovering around, or policies related to Second Anglo-Afghan War. And Lord Lytton was like, dude, how dare you? VPA started in 1882. Vernacular Press Act was started in 1882. No. It was not started in 1882. This was passed during the period around 1878 and it will be repealed. It will be repealed by Lord Ripon. And Lord Ripon is also associated with Ilbert Bill. Very good guy. He is also known as father of, decentralization in India. He played a crucial role in promoting local bodies. So please remember Lord Ripon. And not only Lord Ripon, all these options, Lord Dufferin, and which kind of Duffer activities he was involved in with due respect to Dufferin, Lord Curzon, Harding, everyone becomes important. But now we have two Hardings. One Harding from 1844 to 48 given in class 12 chapter 10. Another Harding from 1910 to 1916. Sometimes you may feel like, sir, which Harding they are talking about? And based on the options, you will realize which Harding they are talking about. So don't worry too much about it. Let me skip this ad. When I'm skipping the ad, we are losing revenue, but again, that's just a joke. So let's focus here. So what we are discussing, which among the following repealed the Vernacular Press Act? So Lord Ripon, and before him, there is Lord Lytton, 1876 to 1880, one of the most evil viceroys you will witness. He passed this Vernacular Press Act where Britishers were like, or vernacular presses were like press or the newspapers, Amrita Bazar, Patrika, etc. They were given warning that you cannot publish or defame British policies. In a way, you cannot criticize us. Like these days, when you criticize government, people are like, oh my God, sir, you are anti-national. No, sir, I'm not anti-national. I think about my nation, and that's why I have to tell you certain things if they are not going in a correct way. That's my duty as a citizen. That's your duty as a citizen to make your government accountable, sir and ma'am. If you are just silent, then that is not correct. So again, let's come back. So Lord Lytton, he threatened vernacular paper. Sir, I guess there's a difference in spelling. One is Hardings and other is Harding. Oh my God. Good. Do have a look at other people. What Vastaram has said, do have a look at it. Sir, if two options have given Harding name, what should we choose? Like here, there is no issue, Charita. So you will never face any issue. You will see Harding later on also. So I will give you more PYQs, don't worry about it. So they will never have a scenario where they will give you both these Hardings at the same time. As Samrat says, Vastaram says, just like today's, again, we'll not go there, Kritika. So as Vastaram said that one Harding name ends with S, others does not end with S. So do have a look at it, whether it is actually correct or not. Just remember, there are two Viceroys / Governor General. One 1844 to 48, other is 1910 to 16. Both are Harding only. Vastram is correct. Vastram is a good boy. So let's focus here. So who among the following repealed the Vernacular Press Act? Again, let's come back. Lord Lytton, 1876 to 1880, one of the most evil guys. Then comes Lord Ripon, one of the better viceroys we had. 1880 to 1884, he repealed Vernacular Press Act, passed Ilbert Bill. Anybody has any idea related to Ilbert Bill? And many questions have been asked related to Ilbert Bill, Vernacular Press Act, Lord Ripon. At the same time, you also have to remember these guys. Lord Dufferin, he was the viceroy during the period of formation of INC, Indian National Congress, around 1884 to 1888. So Dufferin, he said certain things about Congress. Lord Curzon, 1899 to 1905, played a crucial role in the partition of Bengal. Lord Harding, there are too many Hardings, two Hardings. They mentioned one is Harding, Henry Harding, don't worry. Okay, Hardings, and second one is Harding. Very good. So let's focus here. What were we discussing? Lord Ripon, Ilbert Bill. What is Ilbert Bill? Anybody has any idea related to what is Ilbert Bill, sir and ma'am? So what is Ilbert Bill? Earlier, what used to happen? Let's say I'm an Indian guy who is on trial. So, Indian judges, European judges both can put me on trial, but let's say if I'm a European guy and I'm on trial, so European judges will be looking after my case. Ilbert Bill brought a parity. That doesn't matter whether you're a European or an Indian. Both Indian and European judges can look after your trial, can see your trial. And then European people protested, and then this Ilbert Bill was diluted. But this guy had guts to introduce Lord Ripon, and like you can understand how good this guy was. Again, a good guy. If you read more about Lord Ripon, you will have more respect for Lord Ripon. We know Britishers were evil. We know they made us one of the poorest countries in the world. We know that. But even here, you can see some good viceroys. And that's how you will remember it. Very good. Specifically Indian judges. Very good, Samrat. So who among the following repealed the Vernacular Press Act? Lord Ripon. So now you know, like when you're seeing the options also, I think we had this discussion earlier also, that not just the right answer, even the other guys, Dufferin, Curzon, Harding, everyone is important for you. And you have to, Indian judges allowing to preside cases involving Europeans. Very good SS talks. All these guys are important, which are given in the options. Lord Ripon, very important, very, very important, involved in so many things. And before him was an evil guy, Lord Lytton. Time period, have a look at it, you will remember it, you will see them a multiple number of times. Vernacular Press Act brought in 1878. Remember the years? Somebody was asking the year. Repealed by Ripon in 1882. Vernacular Press Act, restrictions on our vernacular newspapers. Because at that time they were criticizing Lytton's policy during Second Anglo-Afghan War. This is Lord Ripon. He is seen as the father of local administration in India. They can ask you, who is the father of local administration in India? The answer will be Lord Ripon. Supported Ilbert's bill, financial decentralization, so many good things associated with Lord Ripon. So don't forget about him. Also don't forget the evil Lord Lytton. Let's solve this particular question. As somebody, okay, again you will see Harding here. Sir, evil guy we remember and the good guys we don't. I can understand. Humans are so. Lord Ripon, educational reforms. Very good, Vastra. So let's try to solve this PYQ 5. Consider the following viceroys of India during the British rule. 1. Lord Curzon, 2nd Lord Chelmsford, 3rd Lord Harding, 4th Lord Irwin. Which one of the following is the correct chronological order of their tenure? A 1324, B 2413, C 1423 and D 2314. See, I know you don't know much about them, but just try to solve these questions. The more questions you are solving, the more you will be able to retain them in a much better manner. Very good. Local newspaper. So what is the answer? I will give you 30 more seconds. Dark has given the answer. Charita, okay, so many people. Samrat, Vastaram, Dark and Charita, they have given the answer. So if you, let's talk about some guys about whom you may have some idea. So whom we have some idea. Lord Curzon, he is very popular. Even if you have read a little bit of modern history, you may have read about him somewhere, partition of Bengal, something like that, fine. So Curzon, 1899 to 1905. Lord Chelmsford, Montague Chelmsford reforms, we have talked about 1919 Act. So he is somewhere there around 1919. Let's say you have that idea. His time period is around 1960 to 21. So Chelmsford. So we at least should know that these two guys, 1 and 2. First 1 will come and then 2 will come. So anything which violates this 1-2 logic, eliminate those options, you are left with A and C only. Now Lord Harding, we know, doesn't matter which Harding they are talking about. If 1844 was that Harding, then 3 would have been at the first, because Irwin, we know he is related to Gandhi based on Gandhi-Irwin pact. So if there is no third, that means he is that Harding which is from 1910 to 1916. And then this Lord Irwin guy, roughly around from 1926 to 1931, you generally associate him with Gandhi-Irwin pact, which happened, during, like when first civil disobedience movement was suspended, first phase of civil disobedience movement was suspended, and then they will start second phase later on. So after civil disobedience movement started, after 1930. So again, Lord Irwin, you associate and you remember it like this. Even let's say you don't know anything about Irwin or Harding, at least you should eliminate B and D and you should come at A and C. And as you people said, A is the correct answer, 1, 3, 2, 4. Very good. Curzon, Harding, Chelmsford, Irwin. Very good, Vastra. And other people. Salt Satyagraha. So Lord Curzon, 18, this is the time period. Chelmsford, 1916 to 21. Harding, 10 to 16. Irwin, 26 to 31. And this is Gandhi-Irwin pact. Why this particular pact was signed? We'll talk about it more when we are talking about civil disobedience movement. But what has happened before civil disobedience movement, something has started, which was known as Round Table Conference. What was the basic purpose of Round Table Conference? To review the different acts. Let's say there was a 1919 Act, Montag Chelmsford reforms. After that, Simon Commission came. Protest happened. So they wanted to review everything. They wanted to review 1919 Act. They wanted to review Simon Commission and other commissions which were established so that they can frame new laws. For that, that Round Table Conference happened. And 3 Round Table Conferences happened. In first Round Table Conference, Congress did not go, and people realized there were some people who went to all these 3 Round Table Conferences, 11 demands, right? So all these 3 Round Table Conferences, like B.R. Ambedkar sir. So Britishers realized that first Round Table Conference, Congress did not come. Britishers were like, we need Congress. Without Congress, we cannot formulate policies. We need to formulate policies for proper development or for carrying out work in India, be it legislative or executive. So they called Congress, and at that time, Congress and Gandhiji, Congress in general, Gandhiji in particular, was involved in civil disobedience movement, as you people are saying, Salt Satyagraha, Dandi March, Dharshana Satyagraha, all these things are going on. So they called, and this pact happened between Gandhiji and Lord Irwin, who was the Viceroy, and Lord Irwin was like, Gandhiji, please come to England, and we don't like things happening without you. You are the soul, and you're a good guy. We want you there. Please come, Gandhiji. Please, pretty please. So Gandhiji was like, okay, remove all the cases which you have filed against my people who are participating in the civil disobedience movement, not involved in violent activities. So there were certain conditions put forth by both these parties. Some of these conditions were agreed by both parties, and then finally this Gandhi-Irwin Pact happened, and Gandhiji went to England. Nothing at all happened there, and then he came back with Sarojini Naidu and other people, and then he started second phase of civil disobedience movement, which was a complete disaster. We'll talk about it later on. So nothing good happened after this pact, with due respect. Again, something will happen later on, but the immediate result of this Gandhi-Irwin Pact was not in the favor of Congress. Misla Ismail from Karnataka. Okay, Ismail from Karnataka. So let's focus. Again, that is what is written here. Agreement signed on 5th March 1931. And many people were angry with Gandhiji that why you are at that time, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, they were facing trial. And many people wanted Gandhiji to ask Irwin to convict them of criminal charges, to not hang them. Gandhiji was like, no, I cannot endorse violent activities which were done by Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. And that's why many people were not liking even Congress at that time. Karachi session was supposed to happen in 1931 under the presidency of Sir Vallabhbhai Patel. And Congress was facing some issues during that time. Gandhiji was having his own say of adversaries at that particular point of time. We'll go there later on. And why we are talking about so much things related to Irwin and Gandhi-Irwin Pact, so that you can remember this guy who did not have much hair on his head. But it is generally said that people who don't have much hair on their head, they are actually rich people. And that's what 3 of my senior guys used to say, that we don't have hair, that means we will be rich, even if we are not rich now. So again, let's not deviate from the topic here. You people deviate me. So let's come back again. So these are again some list of some guys, some viceroys. You don't have to remember any one of them, any features related to these viceroys in particular right now. You just have to look at them, and once you are solving some questions, you can come back to this particular slide. You can have a look at these guys. Lord Dufferin, what is important? He was the viceroy during the formation of INC. Okay, I will not take that name, Vastaram. Lord Elgin, Lord Curzon, he is very important, and you can see how many things are involved with Curzon. Lord Minto, Harding, and as you people were saying, the difference in the name of Harding. I am so proud of you who wrote the difference between both these Hardings. Harding of 1844 to 48 and Harding of 1910 to 1916. There is difference in the spelling of Harding, changed for 1916 to 21. Don't worry about it. You don't have to remember them. You just have to solve more and more questions. The more questions you solve, the more you will be able to remember features associated with this governor, governor generals or viceroys. So this is a question in front of you. Try to solve it. The more you solve these questions, the better you will become in these fact related stuff. So which one of the following pair is not correctly matched? A. Pitt's India Act, B. Pitt's India Act, Warren Hastings, B. Doctrine of Lapse, Dalhousie, C. Vernacular Press Act, Curzon, D. Ilbert Bill, Ripon. Samrat, Vastram, Charita. Vastram changed his answer. and again Charita. So what is the answer here? Pitt's India Act 1784. Let's say you are confused whether Warren Hastings was there or not. Okay, fine. Doctrine of lapse, we know it is associated with Dalhousie, where he said that if you are a ruler, Indian ruler, and you're dying without natural hair, your property will be taken away, you know. So this is correct. So it is correctly matched, so eliminated. Vernacular Press Act 1878. And you can also understand it. The more PYQs you solve, the more you will realize that there are certain areas where UPSC focuses a lot, like Vernacular Press Act. UPSC is asking a lot of questions related to Vernacular Press Act, or the Viceroy is related to the introduction or repeal of Vernacular Press Act. 1878, Curzon's tenure is from 1899 to 1905. We have seen that multiple number of times now. So obviously he is not correctly matched. C is your answer. Ilbert Bill Ripon and Pitt's India Act, Warren Hastings to undo the wrongs of Regulating Act of 1773. So yes sir, Lytton during that. So again, my basic purpose is when I'm giving you these questions to help you understand what are the areas where UPSC focuses a lot on, especially when it comes to prelims. So Vernacular Press Act and passed by Lytton, repealed by Ripon, most controversial law against the press provoked by the writings of Bengali press on his works during Second Anglo-Afghan War. Assumed office when a serious discussion was going on. Again, you can have a look at all these things. Lord Lytton 1876 to 80, and the related, like his, we saw certain things. Lord Lytton not that good, very evil kind of a viceroy, and maybe to undo his work, Britishers sent Lord Ripon, who was more of a moderate guy who did things for us. And you can see what he did. He limited the age of ICS exam. Maximum age limit was reduced to 19 years. Dude, currently we have 32 years for general, and even then we are like, dude, 32 years. So less, increase attempts and everything. At that time it was 19 years. He did it. So you can understand what he's trying to do. Grand Delhi Darbar, famine is going on. 1870, we have talked about like 1770 Bengal famine, and after that in 1870s also famines happened, and during that period Queen Victoria is in India and he is declared empress. He is so pathetic. This guy Lord Lytton, Vernacular Press Act, Indian Arms Act. So he is involved in so many stupid things, so to say, with due respect to Lord Lytton. But again, that respect is little less here in the case of Lord Lytton. So what we are trying to understand, Lord Lytton, Lord Ripon, Vernacular Press Act, Lord Curzon, all these guys, Warren Hastings, these guys are important. And let's solve this question. PYQ 7, the ruler of which one of the following states was removed from power by the British on the pretext of misgovernance? Okay, so Samrat, Vastaram, Charita, SS Talk, Shritika, they have given the answer. The answer is Awadh, which was the central point of 1857 revolt, class 12, chapter 10. We have talked about it yesterday. So A, Awadh. Annexation of Awadh, they can even ask you who was the Governor General when Awadh was annexed on the pretext of misgovernance, that is Lord Dalhousie. And they can even ask you, and they have already asked this question in mains, why Dalhousie is known as the maker of modern India, or which among the following Viceroy or / Governor General is known as maker of modern India. And as you people have already stated, he is known as maker of modern India because he is involved in all these things, you know, railways, telegraph, PWD, Public Welfare Department, all these stuff. And you can see all these things. Abolish female infanticide also, Post Office Act. I think you people already talked about it in the comment section. So that's why he was maker of modern India. Although for many Indian rulers at that time, he was nothing less than evil. And many people even equate him with Lord Lytton and how evil he was. But again, you can see he did so many good things, unlike Lord Lytton, who was actually pure evil. Okay. Wajid Ali Shah Birjis Qad Begum Hazrat Mahal became the ruler in his place. Very good. My answer is showing late. No issues, Charita. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Let's solve this PYQ 8. With reference to colonial rule in India, what was sought by Ilbert Bill in 1883? A. to bring Indians and Europeans at par as far as criminal jurisdiction of courts was concerned. B. To impose severe restrictions on the freedom of native press as it was perceived to be hostile to colonial rulers. C. To encourage the native Indians to appear for civil services examinations by conducting them in India. D. To allow native Indians to possess arms by amending the Arms Act. Vastram, Samrat, Charita, SS Talks, you people have given the answer. Okay. So, what is the basic purpose of Ilbert Bill? And now, please remember, you can understand now. Ilbert Bill, Vernacular Press Act, Lord Lytton, Lord Ripon. They can ask you it was introduced during the tenure of which particular Viceroy? That is Lord Ripon. What was the basic purpose? To bring Indians and Europeans at par as far as criminal jurisdiction of courts was concerned. But because it faced a lot of protest, this Ilbert Bill, especially by the Europeans, it was diluted. But we should admire the efforts of Lord Ripon in this case. At least he tried to introduce this Ilbert Bill, and that's why we say he was one of the better viceroys who we had. Lord Ripon, see how good he looks also with such simple, beard, like good beard and like dense beard and such simple sophisticated face. Okay, let's not do that. So this is what is written here, excerpt from NCRT, that what they wanted to do in this Ilbert Bill. We have talked about it. You can have a look at it. Very good. So again, today we don't have to have a lot of discussions. This is just a basic overview class so that you people become comfortable with Governor General and Viceroys when we have a proper discussion about them later on. So these Viceroys, Governor Generals will keep on coming in subsequent lectures, and you have some idea about them. And once we solve some more questions related to them, you will become more and more accustomed to them. So that's it. We'll not talk much about like anything more today. And tomorrow, I think we'll talk about organizations before INC, what important organizations were formed before Indian National Congress. And if time permits, we'll also start with the discussion on Indian National Congress. We'll take some PYQs, we'll take some questions based on current pattern, and that would be it, right? So again, March batch, if there is any friend or sibling or somebody of yours who is preparing for 2026, you can tell them to join our March morning batch starting from 24th March, 8 AM. Very good. So that's it from me. I will upload this particular PDF on my Telegram channel, Fun Study with Shubh, by tomorrow morning. That is by 10 AM. You can watch this particular PDF. You can watch this video. You can revise it from PDF. And I think that would be it from me, sir and ma'am. So take care, be blessed. Thank you everyone. Tata, bye bye. I'm going you. I'm going you. Oh my god. I'm going now. So yeah, thank you Kritika, Charita, SS Talks. Thank you Vastram. Thank you sir. I've never felt history this interesting. Thank you Vastram. You made my day. And bye bye.